Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the debate. And on the debate, I like to talk about uncomfortable issues. Issues that make other people queasy. Issues that other news networks avoid. And one fundamental issue which everyone avoids is what happened in the S6 coach of the Sabarmati Express when it was burnt with all the passengers inside in Godhra. Yes, viewers, all the politically correct left liberal types who like to talk about the Gujarat riots never want to talk about the trigger incident. They don't want to talk about what happened in Godhra. And now the film has come out which talks about Sabarmati Express and what happened in the S6 coach of the Sabarmati Express. And this issue came up in the news when the Prime Minister over the weekend said that it is very good that there is a movie about the burning of the Sabarmati Express in Godhra in 2002. And the Prime Minister wrote on X, he said, it is good that this truth is coming out. And that too in such a way that common people will see it. A fake narrative can persist only for a limited period of time. Eventually the facts will always come out. Yes, they will, ladies and gentlemen, they will. But only if the media also plays a responsible part. So here are a few questions from my side. Why should we not talk about what happened in the S6 coach where 58 victims were burnt alive inside the S6 coach of the Sabarmati Express? Who burnt them alive? Why should we not talk about the 27 women who were burnt alive in the Sabarmati Express? Why should we not talk about the 20 children, innocent children, who were burnt alive in the Sabarmati Express? Why should we not talk about the fact that 81% of the victims in the Sabarmati Express burning were women and children? Why should we not talk about the indiscriminate stone pelting that took place on the Sabarmati Express? Why should we not talk about the 4 coaches of the Sabarmati Express that were burnt by a mob of 2,000 crazy people? And why should we not talk about the fact, and this is the most important point, that the victims there, their only fault was that they were car sevaks returning from Ayodhya. Car sevaks returning from Ayodhya were targeted by the rioters and 58 victims died. 27 women were burnt alive. 20 children were burnt alive. And even for those people who talk about the post-Godhra riots, the truth is, ladies and gentlemen, the post-Sabarmati Express riots saw over 1,000 victims, but 254 were also Hindus. So Hindus were also victims. Unfortunately, in this country, whenever Hindus are victims, one side of the media tries to downplay that. The whole idea should be to show Hindus as villains and as perpetrators, never as victims. But viewers, the Sabarmati Express had 1,700 car sevaks on board. Their only fault was that they were Hindu. Thousands of car sevaks traveled from Gujarat to Ayodhya to take part in the Mahayagya of the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Mandir. 2 days later, that train arrived 7:43 in the morning in Godhra. Before the train could leave the station, someone pressed the emergency brake. And then there was an attack by 2,000 mobs. And that is when there was stone pelting and these people were killed, burnt alive. Dear viewers of Republic, there are vested groups in our country who want to present a one-sided narrative. Only and only and only and only the Republic Media Network presents the correct narrative. This is the new balance in the media. This is the balance that is very much required, and that is my top debate tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the truth of Sabarmati, I say, let's talk about Godhra. Debate number 2 this evening, you have Kailash Gehlot, top senior Aam Aadmi Party leader and minister who's quit to join the BJP. Has the BJP made a mistake by getting him when he's under investigation? And debate 3 tonight at 9 p.m. The Congress party turns completely a pro-Muslim party. They are now openly promising Muslim reservations on the campaign trails in Maharashtra. That's debate number 3. And here are the headlines this Monday evening on the debate tonight. The Sabarmati report, the film on the aftermath of the 2002 Godhra train burning incident, triggers the Godhra debate as the Prime Minister says the truth cannot be hidden in darkness forever.
सुनने में आ रहा है कि ऐसा कोई नैरेटिव बिल्ड करने की कोशिश की जा रही है, ईडी के दबाव में कर दिया, सीबीआई के दबाव में कर दिया, तो ये सारी मेरे ख्याल से गलतफहमी है। एक आम आदमी किसे
Once an AAP minister and a very close aide of Kejriwal, Kailash Gehlot, under investigation quits the Aam Aadmi Party and joins the BJP, saying that the Delhi government has failed to serve the Aam Aadmi. All this happening on the eve of the upcoming elections in Delhi.
ये नरेंद्र मोदी जी की महाराष्ट्र सरकार की स्ट्रेटजी है, हम आपको ये दिखाना चाह रहे हैं। ये देखिए, एक है तो सेफ है।
As the BJP gains traction politically with the Hindu unity pitch, the call for Hindu unity saying ek hai to safe hai, ek hai to nek hai, Rahul Gandhi caricatures the demand for Hindu unity as he goes all out to consolidate the Muslim vote. The Congress Party's Muslim reservation agenda hits fifth gear just 48 hours ahead of the Maharashtra elections. The party is now openly, after getting support from the All India Muslim Personal Law Board and the Ulema Board, now are openly talking about Muslim reservations if elected. Well, the trigger for the first debate, ladies and gentlemen, is the new film on the 2002 Gujarat violence, which talks about what happened on board the Sabarmati Express, where 58 people, 81% of them women and children, were killed by a rioting mob of 2,000 people who targeted them only and only because the train was full of car sevaks. Now, this part of the narrative has never been put out by the Congi left ecosystem. It's coming out for the first time and is a huge political debate tonight.
The film Sabarmati Report has stirred a nationwide debate on the truth of 2002. Prime Minister Modi took to social media platform X, hailing the effort in a manner that the common people can see it. The flashes of the 2002 Sabarmati Express attack still haunts the victims and their families. Over 59 people died on February 27, 2002, when 4 coaches of the Sabarmati Express were set ablaze by a mob of 3,000 people at Godhra. The car sevaks returning from Ayodhya became a target of this horrifying ordeal, with women and children being the highest of the fatalities. Prime Minister Modi, who was then the Chief Minister of Gujarat, came under tremendous criticism over the handling of the communal riots that ensued in the aftermath of the attack. While PM Modi was later given a clean sheet by a Supreme Court appointed SIT, and the Supreme Court upheld the report, the vicious agenda-driven politicization of the incident has not been forgotten.
गोधरा की हृदय विदारक घटना हुई और उसके बाद की परिस्थितियों में गुजरात हिंसा की आग में जल उठा। मुख्यमंत्री के तौर पर भले उस समय मेरे पास ज्यादा अनुभव नहीं था, लेकिन मेरा गुजरात पर, अपने गुजरात के लोगों पर अटूट भरोसा था। हालांकि जो लोग एजेंडा लेकर चलते हैं, वो उस समय भी घटनाओं का अपने तरीके से एनालिसिस करने में जुटे हुए थे। दुनिया में गुजरात को बदनाम करने की साजिश रची गई, एक निराशा का माहौल खड़ा करने की कोशिश की गई।
However, the opposition has continued its attacks on PM Modi over the Godhra incident.
गुजरात दंगों का मास्टरमाइंड अगर कोई होगा तो मोदी जी हैं कि वहां होने वाले दंगों के बारे में उन्होंने कुछ नहीं किया। हालांकि दंगे फैलाइए, लोगों को मारिए, इस तरह का चीफ मिनिस्टर बोला है।
Meanwhile, the BJP has claimed that after 22 years, the Sabarmati truth is finally coming out.
इस मूवी के माध्यम से देश को एक सच्चाई पता चल रही है। उन लोगों को आखिरी एक कम से कम उनका क्लोजर रिपोर्ट है, उनके लिए भी एक शांति है। और सच्चाई जो अब तक दबाई जा रही थी उससे हटता पर्दा भी देखना चाहिए, और फिर तुम्हें सच पता लगेगा कि तुम्हारे देश का भविष्य कैसा है और कैसे तुम्हें अपने और अपने परिवार को आने वाले समय में बचाना पड़ेगा।
As the lobby targets the discourse around the incident that unfolded in Gujarat in 2002, the biggest question remains: why is the lobby uncomfortable on speaking about the Sabarmati train burning truth?
Siddharth Yadav, national spokesperson of the BJP, Uday Mahurkar, senior journalist, and he has a lot of expertise on the Gujarat incident. Sharan Shetty is a documentary director, and he's made this film, Forgotten 59, The Untold Godhra Story. Ratnakar Tripathi is, of course, a senior Congress leader. Ghanshyam Shah will be joining us in just a while from Ahmedabad. He's a retired professor from JNU. Now, Ratnakar Tripathi, why should we not talk about the 58 people who were burnt alive? If Godhra had not happened, the Gujarat riots would not have happened. Am I right, Uday Mahurkar? The Gujarat riots happened because car sevaks were burnt alive, and families of car sevaks and children, 20 young children were burnt alive. How can we forget? This film has really brought that into prominence, and I think it's a great thing. It's fantastic. We should, ladies and gentlemen, hashtag talk about Godhra. Ratnakar Tripathi.
My heartfelt condolence to the newborn, 10, 11 newborns who were burnt alive in Government Medical College at Jhansi in Uttar Pradesh because of the negligence by the state government and the, medical authorities there. I too won't forget this. Yes, you are talking about it, Dr. Goswami. You haven't stopped it. You are talking about it. You are talking about the half truth. Right? It just reminds me of the famous sentence, there were two vultures. One was having camera. That is what they are doing. They are just trying to encash the tragedy and pain. They are just trying to do something which they could have avoided. It is almost 22 years now, and everybody knows what happened. Everybody knows what happened. The matter is in the Supreme Court. The High Court awarded death penalty to 11 people, 20 life imprisonment, and they acquitted 63. Now the case in the Supreme Court. On the basis that they were burned alive, and they are responsible.
But you are saying that we should avoid talking about it? Why? Siddharth Yadav, the first response we have here is that why should we talk about it? This film should have been avoided.
Do you call me for the grilling session?
No, I asked you the question. You said something, and I
said that
I'm getting a response to what you said from the BJP spokesperson.
They are celebrating one inhuman act with the detriment of the society.
Arnab, let me respond.
Right? They are doing what they are doing.
Yeah, sure, but I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you that these matters need to be buried under the carpet. It's not appropriate to do that.
Let me speak, sir. Vikrant massey is 37 years old, and the person, Mr. Sarna, if I am right, who directed this movie, started acting, the first appearance was in 2000. What have they done for the Sabarmati victims? For their families? What they have promised? Or what they have done?
I don't know why you're so uncomfortable. I don't know why you're so uncomfortable. Siddharth Yadav is responding first to you, Mr. Tripathi. I see so much discomfort. No, 1 minute. When you say, allow me, sir, let me get the other side. The argument being made tonight by Ratnakar Tripathi, should I open the phone lines on it? Okay, let's open the phone lines. Controversial subject, but let's open the phone lines. Ratnakar Tripathi says these issues should not be spoken about. They should not be picked up.
Again, you are spreading the lie.
The people who are making movies on these issues are vultures.
They should do something for them. Please, sir.
And this is also part of that, doing something.
No, this is not a part. Have they promised that if they will earn money, they will spend 40% on those victims' families?
You don't want anyone to know about the massacre of Kashmiri Pandits. You do not want anyone to know about what happened in Sabarmati Express.
when it was said that go back.
Ladies and gentlemen, my question to you tonight is: should we openly talk about Godhra? Should we openly hashtag talk about Godhra? Siddharth Yadav's turn, please, to respond. Siddharth, you heard him.
Arnab, I'm failing to understand that if truth is being spoken, then how is it celebration? How can Ratnakar Tripathi sit here and say that if a movie is being made on something which, shakes everybody up, something which is not spoken about in so many years, something that an entire ecosystem was always trying to hide under the carpet, and if a movie is coming out of that, the filmmakers have to come out and justify, give their earnings, do all of that. Have you given this argument for all other narrative movies that have come under your rule? Or is this your definition of freedom of expression? Because we very well know what the Congress party has done in the past. The history tells us that it was always the Congress party which always got uncomfortable with movies and the right to freedom of expression, with filmmakers exercising that right. Although you always, allege this on the other side, but it was Indira Gandhi and all Congress, leaders and all prime ministers who have always done that. We have seen what happened with the movie Andhi in 1975, Kissa Kursi Ka. We have seen what happened to, the Kishore Kumar songs. They were banned. So many movies were banned by the Congress party because there is one narrative that has to go out. Nothing apart from that narrative should go out. Because if that happens, Congress party is always uncomfortable.
Precisely.
Such an incident happened. You are always, you are very ready to talk about Godhra riots. But what is the harm and what wrong happened with the people in Sabarmati? Why it makes you so uncomfortable that you can't speak a word about it? That you would sit here and say, oh, the filmmakers are so-and-so age and they started making films in the year 2000. What have they done? Have you asked this question to all of the narrative movies?
The truth, I need to... 1 minute.
Mr. Yadav, just a minute, Dr. Swami. I am challenging their intention. I know their intention. That is what Mr. Yadav I am saying.
What is your intention?
You forget the intention, sir.
What is your intention? What is your intention? Okay, Ratnakar ji, I want to say something about your intention. Can I say something here? Viewers, you see today, you see all the channels. They will discuss all the channels today, all the channels today will discuss what are the pollution levels in Delhi. They will not discuss this. They will discuss everything possible. They will discuss what the Kim Kardashian is wearing, but they will not discuss this. They will, oh my God, they will even discuss how pollution impacts dogs, but they will not discuss this. Because human lives don't matter if the humans are Hindus. Reality is speaking tonight, and I'll just take 30 seconds because I believe I'm speaking to an audience. I believe that anyone less than 13 or 12 or 13 years old in 2000, sir, 1 minute, see how he's speaking over me. Viewers, why he's speaking over me? You know why he's speaking over me, viewers? Because he's afraid that in 2024 I will speak the truth. Now let me tell you something, and just be quiet for a minute. Sir, I'll tell you one thing. I was in television in 2002 also. I'm not a newbie. And I can tell you there was a direct attempt at portraying only one side of the reality, at making Hindus look like the perpetrators and Muslims as the victims. I'm not saying Muslims were not the victims, but Hindus were the first victims. Now, what happened? How did the Gujarat riots happen? In 10 seconds, I'll tell you, viewers. There is a train full of 1,700 car sevaks coming back, traveling from Gujarat to Ayodhya. They are going for the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi. It's called Purnahuti Mahayagya. Okay. Then the train arrives at Godhra station at 7:43 a.m. on 27 February 2002. Before the train leaves the station, in a well-planned way, somebody pulls the emergency brake. Then many people pull the emergency chains. We are all here. We all know what happened. The train stops. Where does the train stop? The train stops, as Uday Mahurkar will tell you, in an area dominated by Muslims. Then 2,000 Muslim mob comes to the train. Okay? There is a lot of planned stone pelting and planned attack. 4 railway coaches are set ablaze. All the passengers are trapped inside. These people, this Muslim mob knows there are children, they don't care. The Muslim mob knows that there are women, they don't care. And I'm not among those people who will say, you know, minority community, sensitive words. I will say Hindu-Muslim because it is a fact that it was Hindu-Muslim. 58 people died. And for viewers, 22 years. The tragedy is Uday Mahurkar. We are too embarrassed to say, how did the Gujarat riot start? Because Muslims burnt Hindus alive. Because a Muslim mob burnt Hindus alive. Because a Muslim mob burnt Hindus alive. And 20 Hindu children also died. And Ratnakar Tripathi will tell you, be a good Hindu. Don't talk about these things, Arnab. Be a good Hindu. Good Hindus don't talk about why Hindus are killed.
More Hindu than you.
Shame on you. The Godhra truth scares you. Uday Mahurkar is on the debate. Let's, ladies and gentlemen, talk about Godhra. Talk about Godhra. Force them to talk about Godhra. And Uday Mahurkar is on the debate. Uday Dada.
You yourself will be ashamed of it.
I was present in the hospital in Ahmedabad where the bodies were brought after postmortem from Godhra. From that point onwards, I know the entire story. I have been to that signal Falia from where the Muslims came and burned the train. There were not one, two attacks on the train. One at around 8 o'clock in the morning, another at 11:30 in the afternoon, in the forenoon. There are two attacks on the train by the same crowd, and this has been told to me by the Railway Protection Force officers who were deployed there at the time of second attack. There were slogans being shouted from the mosque, Islam khatre mein hai, kafiron ko kaat dalo. This is on record. And for 10 years, till the judgment came in 2010, there was an attempt by a section of people in the media, a large section of people in the media, by the left lobby, by the Islamist lobby, to show it as an accident. In the first attack, which was around 8:15, there was a crowd of 500 people. 500 Muslims were there, fully armed. So, I personally believe that the narrative for 10 years, almost 10 years, till people started talking about it, for 10 years was run by Deoband School. Deoband School, because the people who attacked this train were all Wahhabis, they were all Deobandis, Tabligh Jamaat people. And the entire narrative was run by Deoband till 2010. After 2010, after the judgment came, there was some talk about actually what happened. And in the last 10 years, there have been about 2-3 attempts to present the truth. This is the final attempt. There have been 2 more attempts earlier. One in the form of a writer called Manmat Deshpande. He has written a very nice book on this. There was one film in which Manoj Joshi was the actor. And then I think Sharanya Shetty also made a very good attempt, So this is the 3rd or 4th attempt on this, But then you made a very good point, Arnab, that people who were only 10 years old at that time, they should know the truth. How politics was played on the dead bodies of 59 Hindus. And for 10 years, there was an attempt to ensure that people forget the Godhra episode and they don't forget the reaction to it, which was in the form of unfortunate attacks on the Muslim community.
I tell you this. I tell you this, Uday Dada, look at it like this. I don't know the details, and I want to go to Sharan because he's done a very, very brave and great job, I think, of doing a documentary on this. I know it's difficult. It's like, yes, given the whole ecosystem would be against a young documentary filmmaker like Sharan, I think he's done a great job. And today, other people are making more commercial films, of course. But before I come to Sharan, and Sharan, remember, you've been called a vulture by Ratnakar Tripathi earlier in the program. People like you who speak the truth according to Ratnakar Tripathi are vultures. But be that as it may, viewers, one statistic from me. I believe that anybody below the age of 34, 35, anybody below the age of 34 or 35 would not have a living memory of what happened in Godhra, because let's say somebody born in 1990, right, would probably be around 34 years today. Probably Sharan himself is younger than that. The point is that anyone 35 or under in this country would not have a living memory of Godhra. What will they read? They will read the left liberal media and say, oh, Hindus are the perpetrators and Muslims are the victims. We need to correct that. Sharan, your thoughts on this film, what you've done, and the comments of Ratnakar Shetty that you heard earlier.
Arnab, good to be with you. And I would like Mr. Tripathi to understand that I don't represent the commercial film, but I represent a documentary where we have documented the voices who have been survivors themselves and the families of the victims who actually lost young children and women. And just for your information, Mr. Tripathi, this vulture was 5 years old when this incident happened. And I come from the south, and I have no relation to Gujarat whatsoever, except the fact that I believe that this carnage, and I use the word carnage, was deliberate and it was pre-planned. And this is not me saying this, Mr. Tripathi, it was the Nanavati Commission which has said this. Because before I ventured out to do this, there are two questions that I asked. One is, what does the Nanavati Commission actually say in detail? Which actually goes to prove that very few panelists have knowledge of what the Nanavati Commission has said, because there is a complete detailed document. And what about the Banerjee Commission report, which had actually falsified this as an accident in the first place? So secondly, Arnab, just as an academic curiosity, my research question was simple. When I was researching about this, and this was around the time of the Prana Pratishtha at Ram Mandir, remember that all these people were going to Ayodhya and they were returning from Faizabad. It was known as Faizabad back then. These people were nowhere involved in any of these things. And why would women and children be targeted, right? The first thing that I did was to Google about these people, and there was only one article by Mr. Gopal Goswami who had written for First Post, and he had disclosed the names after 20 years. Imagine that these 59 people, and many of whom cannot be identified today also, their names were only disclosed after 20 years. So I will end this debate if Mr. Tripathi can tell me why not a single person was interviewed in 22 years. And this was the first time that I documented as somebody in my 20s who had barely any knowledge of what this incident was about until I grew up and read about it, right? So I would urge everyone to watch it. It was from their mouth directly. It is not a social commentary. What these people want is catharsis. They want a closure. They want their families to be remembered. They want their sacrifices to be remembered. And they were targeted very, very brutally. And there was no closure for them. Where was the media around it? I'm not angry or bitter with the media that they covered what happened in the aftermath. Okay, even that should be done. Every victim who suffered in any carnage or riot should be equally condemned. But will you actually evade the question that nothing was actually questioned about this, and why were these people not interviewed even once?
Arnab, more than that, Arnab, I would like to step in here. There was a very planned attempt by a large section of the media, which was under the influence of left ideology, Islamist ideology, to entirely misrepresent the incident as an accident. And it continued for years. In 2006, Lalu Prasad Yadav, as the railway minister, set up the Banerjee Commission, Safety Commission, Railway Safety, under the Railway Safety Act, to prove that this was an accident. And mind you, I was with India Today at that time. I still very distinctly remember any reporter coming from the English media, particularly coming from Delhi, his first thing was to go to a newspaper called Gujarat Today, which was being run by members of the Muslim community, and take all the facts from them, and not to even look at the VHP office. VHP was handling the bodies of the victims. They were handling this side, Hindu side, So their duty was to go to Muslims also as well as Hindus. But all the reporters who were coming from Delhi, they were going to the Gujarat Today office, which was a newspaper, which was running the Muslim narrative. So this was, I think, the biggest conspiracy I have ever come across.
And then what happened is that...
It was played on the dead bodies.
And then what happened was that Lalu Prasad Yadav said that the Hindus died in an accident, but the Muslims were killed in a riot. And then Congress leader Ahmed Patel conspired allegedly with Teesta Setalwad, right, to try and frame Prime Minister Modi, who has been cleared by the Supreme Court appointed SIT. Then Teesta Setalwad was given the Padma Shri by the Congress party, and Ahmed Patel became political secretary to Sonia Gandhi till 2017. Then R.B. Srikumar and Sanjeev Bhatt fabricated evidence to frame different people, And the SIT affidavit said that at Ahmed Patel's behest, Setalwad got 3 million rupees post the Godhra riots in 2002 and used to come to Delhi to meet the prominent leaders of a particular political party. And now you say that Sharan Shetty is a vulture. But the Congress party organized a public screening at a beach in Tiruvananthapuram to put out the BBC documentary targeting Narendra Modi.
Yeah,
nobody wants to hear the truth.
No, just a minute, Dr. Goswami.
No, left media went berserk on the BBC documentary.
2010, Arnab.
Let's talk about Godhra, ladies and gentlemen. Let's openly talk about it. You see, nobody talks about these things.
Step in here. In 2010, I did a story in human rights. That story completely exposed Sister Sabarmati. The way she had... Sister Sabarmati was member of the National Advisory Council by Sonia Gandhi.
My grandparents
he was member. He was like an extra constitutional authority in the Congress government. And she was the person who tutored the witnesses, and that story was exposed by me in 2010, how Muslim witnesses were tutored to fix Narendra Modi and BJP leaders.
So you want to say...
We are on record.
You want to say that although you witnessed this in 2002, you were not allowed to give it to the press till 2010. That is what I was saying.
No, I have done story in between.
I have done stories in between. You suppressed the story. That is what you are saying.
But no, I had to, in 2010,
you are saying,
I made a very,
that is not my saying.
Question being here tonight, 1 minute, Ratnakar Tripathi, Siddharth Yadav and Sharan Shetty. You see, why don't we say, since you use the word genocide so loosely, why don't we say that the Gujarat riot started with the act of genocide against Hindu pilgrims by a Muslim mob? Correct the history, no?
Yes.
Am I asking for too much? Am I saying something wrong?
One more thing, Arnab, one more thing.
Now you are speaking
Mr. Narendra Modi, I was with him in his campaign in 2002 also, soon after the riots. He used to always say what happened at Godhra was wrong, what happened after Godhra was also wrong. While Congress was saying, forget Godhra, remember post-Godhra.
My question goes to Sharan and Siddharth want to come in. I saw Siddharth raise his hand there. Siddharth.
I want to make one point.
Siddharth Yadav. He's saying something. Ratnakar Tripathi. Let me get the two other gentlemen in. Siddharth, please.
Arnab, what is fascinating to note today is that the Congress senior leader who's sitting here is finding it, I pity him rather, it's finding it so difficult to speak out the truth. He's getting so uncomfortable when you are stating facts, when the senior journalist on the panel is also stating facts. This happened. This is the truth. Why can't one speak the truth? What is it with the Congress party? And mind it, Arnab, that this was an incident which was unprovoked. This was an incident where the pilgrims who were returning had no other option. They were coming on a state-funded transportation mechanism in a railway. It is not like these days. When, जैसे कई बार उसको गलत कहा जाता है, but Muslim बस्ती में जाकर के किसी ने कुछ नहीं किया. They were returning from Ayodhya, they were pilgrims, they were attacked unprovoked. And Ratnakar Tripathi cannot utter a word. Ratnakar Tripathi is so uncomfortable speaking about them. Ratnakar Tripathi is not finding it strange that the stories of all those people who were victims did not come out for so many years. Why is it? What makes the truth so uncomfortable for the Congress party? I'm failing to understand. But I think it is that the confidence that he is displaying today, that confidence comes from some ecosystem. The confidence, the source of that confidence also has to be understood, Arnab. And that confidence with which he is sitting and denying the truth blatantly, that confidence has stayed for long. But I feel today it is time, and I find it very unfortunate that such discussions are happening, and I thank you that we are finally opening that discussions and we are openly talking about this. Filmmakers have the courage to come out and speak the truth. Documentaries are coming out on it. Because we for so many years did not have that atmosphere, we for so many years did not have that option, and truth was always hidden. No longer, Arnab.
I'll give a word to Sharan Shetty, to Ratnakar Tripathi first. Sharan Shetty.
Arnab, a lot of the guidance that I received was basically very few articles that were written by people like Udayji. So otherwise, there was no other journalist speaking about this. Secondly, if Mr. Modi, being a part of the BJP, can condemn any violence that has happened and any loss that has happened, regardless of their religion or their caste, why can't opposition leaders also do the same, is my question. At the end of the day, these lives were lost. I spent almost 3 months in Gujarat, Arnab, with my own money. I'm barely 3 years into journalism, okay? I don't have a lot of savings. I put everything because I saw that these stories were not told. And it had to be told in video because nobody reads these days, okay? And there was a woman who I met, okay? Her husband was burnt alive there. It was... See, everybody talks about a post-facto closure, okay? Now you can come and do all the sermons saying that this is all done, let's move on and all of that. What about the pre-facto closure and what about the psychological trauma that these people have gone through? Because Arnab, this woman tried to commit suicide 3 times and she has lost her arm. You see the documentary. She reveals her arm at one point where her arm is hanging around. And I broke down. I have nothing to do with this woman. Is that amount of sympathy, regardless of your politics, keep your politics aside, I really don't care about the politics of this. Okay, if you can't show that sympathy, and if you're towing all your political lines on, then it would be a shame on you, regardless of which party you belong to.
I totally agree with you. That's why I began by saying I think it's a very, very brave attempt on your part, Sharan. I would love to see the documentary. I would love to show parts of it on Republic with your permission. And Sharan Shetty...
Shame on you that you are not sharing your money with those victims. Don't say...
What money? Is an individual journalist, 3 years into the profession, you want him to share money? How much money did Ahmed Patel share with Tista Se Talwar? How much money did Ahmed Patel give Tista Se Talwar?
Very true.
How much did he give?
Shame on me. And one more thing to you, sir, too. Today you said that you told me to feel shame. I am not in a habit of just taking these words. Please save it for some other people. Please.
I don't know what I said about your feeling shame. I don't think he said that. I think he said I'm a journalist 3 years into the profession and I have put my effort into telling a story. You should have the confidence to hear the story.
You said Ratnakar Tripathi, shame on you. Please, I am not in a habit of... I've been listening to this word from you. So please, save it for other people.
Well, I mean, you said something and I responded to it twice as much.
It was with the Kevin Carter. And it was said that there were 2 vultures.
Don't change the subject, Ratnakar Tripathi.
No, I'm not changing subject.
The subject is very clear. The Godhra truth is coming out. You also have a responsibility. You should go everywhere in Varanasi and talk the truth about Godhra. You should hold public meetings. You should go and meet university students. You should go to Assi Ghat. You should go to Dashavamed Ghat. You should go to the streets and chaurahas of Varanasi and say, हम सच्चाई बताएंगे कैसे कार सेवकों को टारगेट किया था।
बताइए सच्चाई।
आप बताएंगे रत्नाकर जी, आप बताएंगे रत्नाकर जी, आप बताएंगे, आप छुपाएंगे नहीं, आप बताएंगे, I thank you very much.